Howdy, howdy. TzuDevil here, and welcome to our second match between myself and ShadowOnlineGaming in our grudge match series with the Dowie versus the Dwarfs' ancient enemies. In this match, we're going to be playing against the Skaven. So for my army, I've brought a front line of Longbeards with 4 chevrons. I've got 4 of them, and I've got the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. They're going to do pretty good in the front line. Generally, Skaven don't have a lot of armored frontline troops. For the back line, we did bring the the Dragonback Slayers to be able to deal with any Doom Wheels, and we got just regular Slayers with 2 chevrons. I was expecting 2 Doom Wheels. We wanted 1 on each side to help protect that. We've got Bugman's Rangers with 3 chevrons who are going to be able to accept a charge from those Doom Wheels. And in the middle here we have the Grumbling Guard, Longbeards with great weapons in order to deal with any armor piercing, or to give any armor piercing damage, and of course to buff up my units with the Vigor Aura. For the leadership, I've got a Rune Lord, and key to this build is the Skaven have do lots of magic damage. Aside from their spells, all of their artillery does magic damage. Their Death Bomb Globadiers or Deathwind Globadiers or whatever. So I brought him with the Locust of Power, which is an extra 15% magic resistance for all of my troops. So all of my troops have a 40 to 55% magic resistance, so they're going to be able to resist that. But I also brought the Master Rune of Wrath and Rune, and really it's for that minus 48% speed. I also brought a Runesmith with the Rune of Wrath and Rune for the 48% speed debuff, because that's how I want to deal with any Doom Wheels that come down the side, is not to necessarily hurt them, but to slow them down so we can deal with them. So I've got 1 on each side with the Rune of Wrath and Rune, and I also with this Runesmith brought the Hammer of Karak Draws, and what that does is see if I can't actually get on it. Oh, there we go. It's a hex that lasts for 90 or 50 seconds. You can cast every 90 if you're in a recharge when you're engaged in melee, but it's minus 25% weapon damage, minus 44 melee attack to anything that you cast it on. So it's actually quite powerful, and I brought that just in case there was you had Queek Head Taker, you had something in the back line trying to dominate my Rune Lord. I could cast it on that unit, and for 44 seconds or for 50 seconds really reduce their ability to do anything to me. Now and I have 2 units of Bugman's Rangers back here that are going to lay an ambush on his artillery. I expected artillery. The Skaven artillery is extremely good, so these guys are going to sneak up behind. For his front row, he has Clan Rats with shields and 2 Storm Vermin. These are the guys I have to worry about. They are armor piercing, and some more Clan Rats. He does have only 1 Doom Wheel, which was good for me. I only had to worry about one side. He has some Death Globe Bombardiers. Again, 2 units of them, and they do magic damage. And for his leadership, he has Queek Head Taker with Trophy Heads and the Warlock Engineer. So he's already going to start shooting, and he's not going to do a ton of damage because they do magic damage. So I'm trying to engage with my front line while I'm sneaking up here with my Rangers. I want to get them in place, and you can see these, they're doing some damage, but not a whole heck of a lot. Like, we do have decent defense against that. Now he's going to bring his Doom Wheel in. Doom Wheels are incredibly hard to deal with. So on this side, I'm going to bring up my Slayers, Dragonback Slayers, my Runesmith, and right as he engages, I'm going to start shooting. So you can see in the back line I'm shooting. I'm just going to pause it or make it go a little bit slower. I'm already shooting with the Warp Lightning Cannon with my Bugman's Rangers, and he's not going to notice that to those guys' route. I've casted Rune of Wrath and Rune on them, on the Doom Wheel, minus 48% speed. So he's now at 38 speed. As soon as the Dragonback Slayers hit him, he'll get another speed debuff, so that should be occurring pretty soon. We'll just play here. And you see now that Doom Wheel's at 12 speed. I brought my Grumbling Guard in here to add some mass to help slow that Doom Wheel down, and I'm going to try and just deal with it on this side, get my other Slayers back, and get involved in this front line. Now my Rune Lord, I can cast the Rune of Master Rune of Wrath and Rune on these Storm Vermin, which I'm going to do. And I want to get my Bugman's Rangers firing on the Storm Vermin as well. I've already routed one unit, and I'm routing the next Warplating Cannon very, very quickly. I've got the Master Rune of Wrath and Rune. I can turn my Rune Lord back, and I'll keep focusing them down. Now I've got my Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. They're coming in. They're going to get dumpstered by these other Storm Vermin. I'm engaging across in the front line. My Longbeards are going to do just fine. I can get my Runesmith fighting. They're just clan rats, and I can get my Rune Lord fighting into this front line as well. I just have to watch out for Queek Head Taker. So I've got the second Warp Lightning Cannon routing, and I'm just going to start shooting at this Warlock Engineer. He is shooting back at me. Obviously I'm taking some damage, and the Doomwheel has been able to get away from me. I'm bringing my Grumbling Guard to the front line to help try and support this. My Warriors of Dragonfire Pass are getting absolutely dumpstered. I do want to cast that Hammer of Karagdros on Queek Head Taker, so I've got it on him now. He's minus 44 melee attack, so he's only got 19 melee attack and 400 weapon damage. So he's going to come in and try and take out my Rune Lord, but with the debuff, it's going to be a little bit harder. I definitely see that even with the debuff, I can't stay there. He's got trophy heads on me. I've got 7 melee defense, and I've got to get my Rune Lord out of that engagement. He's brought his Doomwheel into this back line. I'm going to try and get on with my other Slayers as well. And I've got my Longbeards chasing. I've got my Grumbling Guard here in the front line. He's got a Warlock Engineer and these Storm Vermin. But now I've cleared off his infantry, and I'm bringing in my Bugman's Rangers to start on his Deathglobe Bombardiers. And here comes some more magic. And you can see that these, it really still hurts the Grumbling Guard, but they're so much more capable of taking that damage with the Locust of Power going. So at this point, I've got his Doomwheel routing, and I can bring my other units over. I've got my Bugman's Rangers in the back is shooting into these Deathglobe Bombardiers, and I will switch to these Deathglobe Bombardiers in very short order. I do want to get these Storm Vermin with Halberds off, so I've got my Bugman's Rangers continuing to shoot at them. I don't want them to come back, and I'm going to cast Rune of Wrath and Rune on these Storm Vermin again, because I no longer need it for the Doomwheel because it's routed off. And I think I've got, yep, my Bugman's Rangers are focused on these Deathglobe Bombardiers. I've got a, there we go, Master Rune of Wrath and Rune on these Storm Vermin with Halberd. And just trying to get my troops reorganized. Queek Head Taker is stuck up in this frontline infantry with these Longbeards. And my Rune Lord was able to escape and stay fairly safe. And now we've got most of his troops routing. It's really not going to be long from here. Just collapsing on his line. I want to make sure I get rid of his clan rats, and I see Queek coming, so I'm going to have to send my troops here to start fighting Queek, and I will give them those orders very, very quickly, but Queek is starting to rout as well. And that is it. So I think obviously a fun battle. Got to use my Bugman's Rangers in a stealth mission, and it was incredibly effective. It's something that most players playing against the Daoi will not expect, for sure, is to have a hidden unit of the Daoi behind them, and you know, incredibly effective against these Warp Lightning Cannons. I mean, these are powerful weapons. They only got 35 and 18 kills respectively. We got them off the field incredibly quickly. We were able to also control that Doomwheel. It only got 29 kills, which is a very good value, because I think these are worth, these Warp Lightning Cannons are worth 1,000, a Doomwheel maybe 1,400, so really these three key units we were able to control. The Storm Vermin with Halberds only got 1 kill. We were able to get the Master Rune of Wrath and Rune on them early and focus them down with our Bugman's Rangers. These Storm Vermin got 29 kills, and they dumpstered our Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. The rest of our line for Longbeards held quite nicely, 36, 47, 89, and 0. Grumbling Guard didn't get quite as involved as they would have liked, because I used them to try and get in front of this Doomwheel, because I wanted to stop it and slow it down and use their mass to do so. We still got free. Those Doomwheels are really hard to control, even if you're ready for them. and the Bugman's Rangers we had in the back got 47 and 73 kills. They focused on the Storm Vermin and then the Death Globe Bombardiers, and they only got 25 and 3 kills. Again, we had the that Locust of Power for extra magic damage resistance, which made a pretty big difference in that encounter. We did get 26 kills with the Rune Lord, which you wouldn't expect, but I was able to put my Runesmith and my Rune Lord into combat against these clan rats because they're really nothing to be worried about, so I was able to get them in there. And of course the Dragonback Slayers and our regular Slayers were able to manage that Doom Wheel, and then I was able to get them into combat again with these clan rats, and I think I was able to pick off a few Death Globe Bombardiers. So they actually performed quite well with 58 kills and 11 when really they were only there for the Doom Wheels. Like these 4 units, the Rune Lord, Runesmith, Slayers, and Slayers were only there for the Doom Wheels, and you know, fortunately he only had one. If he had 2, and we talked about it after the fight, it would have been a different battle because I wouldn't have been able to use my Master Rune of Wrath and Rune on these Storm Vermin. I would have had to use it on the other Doom Wheel to slow it down, and he would have been able to get into my Bugman's Rangers who were focusing on his Storm Vermin as well. So his Storm Vermin would have come in with a lot more health, and the beauty of the Bugman's Rangers in the back, like even had he seen them right away, I still would have been able to kill both of those artillery pieces, or at least route one and come close to routing another. And had he had Rat Ogres or something that could come and engage them, the Bugman's Rangers are pretty robust in melee, so it would have split up his forces, and I would be able to push harder with the front line. So a really good fight. Our second of 3 with the Dwarfs facing the Skaven. We had a much different army this time than from the first, and we will have a much different army for the third battle we have coming up against the High Elves. Hope you found it interesting, and I definitely go, and if you haven't subscribed to Shadow's channel, go and subscribe. He's got a great channel, lots of interesting content. One of the great things about Shadow is that he is a community organizer. He really brings people together, and since I've subscribed to him, I've found some new YouTubers that I love to watch, and you know, because he involves a lot of people from the community. He ran a YouTube tournament with 10 YouTubers. You know, he had like Janet on occasion, the Gobble King, Dav Plays, I mean, Pharaoh War, like just a lot of great players, and you know, so this was one of these guys that is worthwhile subscribing to his channel just to keep up with the news in the community, and you know, plus you get great content on top of that. So hope you found that second of our 3 grudge matches interesting, and I will see you soon.